Daddy Valenti.
Actually stop it.
Well, speaking of fucked.
Why, hello, and welcome to Pass the Hot Sauce, a Roswell podcast. I'm Aliza Ora.
I'm LaRena Rose.
And I'm producer Ashley.
And we're here to talk about every episode of the 1999 WB series Roswell, one episode at a time and spoiler-free. Today we're discussing Season 2, Episode 21, The Departure, the season finale.
According to IMDb, this is the one where Max, Michael, Isabel, and Tess prepare to return to their home planet using the granolith and the directions from the book that Alex translated. They find that saying goodbye is not the easy thing to do. Max and Liz discover that the university student they believe to be an alien is not, and therefore could not be Alex's killer. Maria's mom and Kyle start to remember things that Tess had mind-warped them to forget. This episode originally aired on May 21st, 2001, and it was written by Jason Katims and directed by Patrick R. Norris.
Dream team.
Yeah.
So, cold open.
Yeah.
Except this time, it's a little different. Because we got Michael here to tell us what's really going on.
Yeah.
Michael to get down to business. So I also think it's funny that Maria's like, so Max and Tess are an item. There, I said it. When it's like, they had sex episodes ago.
A couple episodes ago.
This is not new.
Yeah, they've been an item.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe that's why Michael was like, let me just take over.
Yeah. They are pregnant. Tess is pregnant. We found a way home. We getting out of here. Cut to the granolith and a big crystal dildo key.
Because it wouldn't be the WB without a crystal dildo.
Right inside the Starship 3000.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we got some pretty blatant exposition. Max being like, this is the key. We will only have 24 hours. This only has one mission. Like, okay, so we get the full story of what's going on with the granolith.
All the things that we have apparently learned from the document that Alex translated.
Mm-hmm. So they only have 24 hours. And this real cool looking graphic to show them the countdown.
Yeah, it's going to keep us on track all episode.
And Isabel already looks so sad, right? Straight out the gate in this episode.
Oh. Yeah, she is not ready to leave her parents, her home. Ugh.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
She's devastated. I hate seeing Isabel so sad.
This is like the one time, though, that I don't blame Max for being like, we have 24 hours, I'm putting the key in now, we have to go. Like, because it's actually not just about him having power over others. It's like, my son will die.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I still wish that, I guess you can't really take a vote. It's fine.
No.
If your kid is in danger, you're not going to vote.
But he could have said, I'm putting the key in. We have 24 hours. Tess and I are leaving. If you want to come with us, you have 24 hours to get here.
Not you have 24 hours to say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Not just assuming.
I'm making this decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we cut to the crash down where Kyle is tapping. He's tapping. Oh my gosh. I almost missed it. It was like such a small little detail. They didn't like make a big deal out of it at all. Like, I wonder what it could mean.
Yeah, it's real subtle for sure. When this scene started, I was excited because I was like, oh, it's my two favorite girls. Well, okay, Isabel, whatever. Two of my favorite girls with my two favorite guys.
Mm-hmm.
But they immediately went into like a stupid conversation about, you know, Sean shouldn't have an earring and Sean thinks that so-and-so is the R word and just come on.
And Kyle thinks earrings are gay. Like, just let's, I know it's 2001, but I'm not here for it. Yeah, over it. Was over it in 2001. I'm over it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyle is told to stop tapping, and he says he didn't even realize he was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. Wonder why they put that in there.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to pay attention and find out, I guess.
There's also, who is it? One of them, I think Kyle, as Max and Michael approach, makes reference to Heckle and Jekyll.
Yeah, it's Kyle. I had to look this up because this, to me, felt like one of those references that adult writers throw in to be clever, but it's like not something that a kid would ever say.
Yeah, I also had to look it up. And what I found was that it was a post-war cartoon of animated wisecracking magpies.
Yep.
And created by Paul Terry in 1946. And they looked familiar to me. I was like, oh, okay, sure. Like, I know these magpies. But what was interesting is that originally, and I know we talked about this prior to recording this, but that they had initially been husband and wife when it first came out. But then by the time it got really popular, it was just two little dude magpies. So yeah. Again, a 1946 cartoon. Like, what does a teenager...
Absolutely, that's what Kyle is watching on Saturday mornings, not, Animaniacs or something else from this generation.
Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, and well, when Heckle and Jekyll arrive, they are very serious, and Maria immediately jumps to worst case scenario.
But first, when they first arrive, I don't want to miss the daggers that Liz is shooting out of her eyes at Max.
Yes.
Daggers. Yes. But yeah, it is sad to watch Maria, who clearly has been traumatized by loss just recently, immediately being like, oh God, is someone dead?
In full panic, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like that Michael immediately puts that fire out. He doesn't say, like, because he very easily could have been like, we'll talk about it later. Yeah. I need to see you tonight. But he was like, no, it's nothing like that. But it is kind of like that.
It is.
It is kind of like I'm going to leave this planet forever and ever in less than 24 hours.
Right.
Loss is loss, Yeah. And, like, yes, different loss is different, but, like, it's not a competition, and somebody leaving your life forever with no way to talk to them ever again, that's a
kind
big
of
loss.
like they're dead.
Yeah. It, in terms of functionality, it's the same thing.
Until they invent Intergalactic Book.
Ooh.
Where we can send friend requests to the alien.
Oh, you mean until they create my space?
Oh, that was better.
Except that, like, kind of, but they already created MySpace, and it wasn't like that. But, I felt like I had to.
Yeah. And then we head up to Liz's room, where my note here is, was that hard for you to say you were right, Max? Was that hard for you?
Probably the hardest thing he's ever done.
Yeah. So he basically has to tell Liz that she was right, that Alex was murdered by an alien, and he is going to take care of it.
He still doesn't say that he's sorry for all of the shit he put her through, though.
No, he does not.
No. Come on. We can't expect too much of him. Yeah, and Liz is just like, well, fuck that. I'm coming too.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not just going to go deal with it. I'm coming.
I will come to Las Cruces with you.
And then we go to this heartbreaking scene at the Evans, and it's just this, like, mundane, like, eating Chinese food takeout with Isabel and Philip and Diane.
Mom is talking about the new cable plan that she bought, and
Philip is, like, obsessed with the Chinese mustard.
Yeah. Like, just such a mundane household conversation, and you can tell how much Isabel wants to tell her parents what's going on, as she has wanted to do many times in the past. And Max has basically forbade her from doing so.
Like she has no say in her own truth and her relationship with her parents and who she trusts.
Yeah.
Where she goes to college.
Yeah, any of it. What planet she stays on.
Right.
Yeah, and it's so sad to see her. She, like, goes... did she go to the fridge to get something? Maybe to look for the mustard. And she's, like, hiding her crying. It's sad.
Oh, Katie. Such a good actress.
She is. That face.
Yeah. And then we head to the Valenti house with Daddy Valenti.
Daddy Valenti.
Lisa's not even here, but LaRena's here carrying on the torch.
I mean, he's just so... I mean, it just felt weird to say Dad Valenti.
No,
like,
he is Daddy Valenti. You said it perfectly correct.
Doesn't roll off the tongue the same, but he is just so sweet and stepping into that caretaker role for Tess and letting her know that she'll always be a part of their family. And then Tess does try out the word dad so awkwardly.
I do not like that part.
But I did like that he was like, how'd it sound? Or like,
how'd it feel or whatever.
He's like, how'd it feel? She's like, yeah, it felt a little weird.
Too weird.
A little too weird. But I mean, as much as we know how horrible Tess is now, right? This is like the big reveal is this episode. It's just amazing to see him be so welcoming and wonderful to her, and not just to her, but to her unborn baby.
Yeah.
And like he just like so naturally became this like father role to her, and then so naturally could slip right into a grandfather role.
Right.
And he's really come a long way too. Like, he's come a long way in the course of the 2 seasons, because like, remember at the beginning when he was so obsessed with discovering whether or not aliens were real. So I guess that is like off of his mental plate now, but like he would like forget Kyle. Like he forgets to pick Kyle up. He, he just was a very absent father figure in season 1, especially the earlier part. And now not only is he a very involved father with Kyle, but with Tess as well as a father figure.
Do you think it was like the trauma of almost losing Kyle that like
I do.
Yeah.
made that big shift?
He had already started like little bits of trying to be better, but he didn't really fully jump back into the dad role until Kyle almost died.
Yeah.
And that was also like what solidified the like mutual trust between him and Max, and him like being part of the pod
Which
squad.
is so weird to me, his relationship with Max, who is a teenager just like all the others, and he's very much like a dad, like a father figure to everyone else, but to Max is an equal.
Yeah. As another in charge person. And it's like, I mean, he might be in charge, but that doesn't mean that he is, like...
Not a fucking teenager.
Yeah.
He's a fucking teenager, and not a good one.
I do remember the first time I watched this episode getting all teary-eyed and thinking that it was cute.
Yeah, you're right, because you don't know yet.
Obviously, rewatching it, I was like, you don't deserve to call him dad!
No,
Until
she does
20
not.
minutes later. When the truth is revealed.
And it just makes what she did even worse. Like, if possible, after having been, shown such love and, open arms and being accepted into a family, not just as a guest, but as a member of the family. And this
fully
is
taken care of,
Yeah, she's totally taking advantage of them. It's fucked.
Well, speaking of fucked, Max is about to fuck up Leanna and set fire to her apartment.
Because that makes sense and is the most logical step forward.
Yeah.
And I do want to point out that they're in the ceiling vents, and in most shows they will have like fans or something to make it sound like they're less clunky, but they did not in this show, and so it is just like as they're like running through. I was like, if I was in a dorm in that building, I would be like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Something is going on. Are there chupacabras up there?
Do we have raccoons
that is not
in
rats.
the ceiling?
Like, yeah.
Also, like, how easy is it actually to gain access to a vent system and climb through it like people do in so many movies and TV shows?
I'm gonna guess real easy.
In real life?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've never tried it.
Okay, LaRena. That's our next adventure. We're going to put LaRena in some air ducts.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. I'm game.
Listeners, stay tuned. We'll go into air ducts for science.
But yeah, Max's solution here is to set a fire in her dorm room. And, like, I don't know about y'all, but, like, I didn't envision him, like, then having to, like, I don't know, like, use a lightning bolt and then, like, melt the walls and then, like, melt the things behind the walls and then, like, keep melting the walls to start a fire.
I also, like, maybe I just misunderstood what he said, but when he told Liz what he was going to do, I thought he was just going to, like, focus a beam into the room and start a fire in the room.
Yeah.
See, I took it as more of, like, an electrical fire. Like, he's got to get into the electrical wires and set them on fire, and then it will spread. But
it's like, he has powers, right?
Yeah.
Does he need to get physically into the wall to start an electrical fire, right? If the electrical box is right there, so just, like, you know, give a little spark through the wall.
Yeah.
Well, it's Max. You know he's got to be extra. He has to do it the most dramatic way possible.
He does.
And he has to give time for Liz to not want to be involved in this and leave, and then have the vision of the blood and realize it's probably human blood because it was red, and that then burst into Leanna's room and get her out in time.
Was it because it was red?
I don't know. I mean,
no.
that's
No.
the only...
It was because she made some comment about having noticed that Leanna was sewing, right? And that's how she poked her finger.
Yeah.
And I think, like, because, you know, if Isabel has had a stain or whatever, she, like, uses her powers to fix it. That, like, an alien would use powers to mend the button or whatever she was sewing, but she was sewing by hand, which kind of
interesting. I hadn't
left
thought
Liz
of that.
thinking, like, why would an alien do that? And then she was like, oh, and there's this blood, so I can test it before we fucking kill her with a fire.
Look at you. So smart. I did not think of that at all.
Me neither.
I just thought it was because she saw the blood.
No, because you know, our aliens bleed red too. It's only when you look under a microscope that it's all green.
Yeah, no, you're
or whatever.
totally right.
So yeah, I think that's what it was. I think she said something to that effect.
Good point. I did not
And when
think
she
of
goes
that.
in and gets that tissue, I just am so curious as to how long Leanna was sewing and how hard she was poking herself, because that tissue was covered in blood, like a freaking nosebleed or something.
Did she poke her fingertip or her jugular?
Right.
LaRena, I did not need you to act that out.
Too bad. I did anyway.
LaRena held up an invisible needle up to her neck. No, that was cute. So yeah, Liz has time to run in and get Leanna out of there. And I forget, she gave her some, like, bullshit excuse.
She runs in and says fire, fire. And then as soon as they get out in the hall, she goes like, oh, never mind, false alarm. And just leaves.
Right, okay. And then, yeah, Max comes back out being like, what the fuck? She's like, she's not an alien. She can't be the killer. I don't remember.
What if she's just a really practical alien?
Right, it's like, what, aliens can't sew? Come on.
Some people like sewing.
Yeah.
I could see Isabel, like, knitting or something.
Yeah.
For, like, calming herself down and everything.
Yeah.
But plot points.
Yeah, true.
Oh, and then we head to a very sad, but also very awkward closing scene. Isabel, who does she want to say goodbye to besides her parents, who she can't say goodbye to because they don't know she's an alien? She wants to say goodbye to Alex. And she goes to his grave and is sitting with him and talking to him, and it just breaks my heart.
And there's candles, and it's really, it's nice.
Candles
and
and roses.
And I saw his epitaph for the first time, which I had to pause on it. And in addition to, like, beloved son and friend, it also says, may your song always be sung.
Aww.
Which I thought was a sweet sentiment for, you know, a musician who is very loved.
Yeah.
And people will keep singing his song.
Yeah.
And Colin shows up.
Yeah.
And so I remember reading that other scene was the last one of him in the show, but I think I had misread that it was the last one that Colin filmed. Because I think this had been filmed back, like, when they had him on the lot and everything.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, that would make sense. Because, yeah, he's in this scene, or in this episode a couple times, because then we also have him in the Kyle flashbacks later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which all could have been filmed in one day.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Totally. Then we have to close out this beautiful, heartbreaking scene with an awkward ghost dance. Which, I don't mind the part where, like, you see Isabel and Alex dancing together. I mind the stupid, awkward part when it pans out and you realize, no, she's really dancing with herself and just, like, awkwardly holding her arms up in a graveyard and swaying because Alex is not real. It's like, we know Alex is not real. Like, you don't need to show us that awkward moment and, like, kill the mood.
In my opinion, there's only one ghost dance that I want to see on screen, and it ends with 4 words, which are, "Can I keep you?"
Yes.
That's my kind of ghost dance. Other than that, no thank you.
Yes. Oh, if you don't know what that's from, listeners, Google it.
And then go watch Casper.
Oh, we just outed the...
I don't want to alienate our young listeners by being like, we won't tell you, you have to Google it yourself.
Google it.
We're gatekeeping this old-ass movie that you absolutely can watch on your own with no problem.
Yeah, it's a really fucking cute movie.
It's so great.
With Christina Ricci and Devon Sawa, and you should check it out.
Mm-hmm. So Liz and Max are in the Jeep, I guess after having left Las Cruces, and he pulls the car over, which I guess is a good move if you're going to deliver news like this.
Some bad
to
news,
tell her that Tess is pregnant. Which is also, you know, obviously his way of telling her that they had sex. And he said, we spent the night together. Because they cannot say the word sex on this show.
He still could have just said Tess is pregnant, and that's all he had to say.
Yeah, like she knows what that means.
She can fill in the pieces, or she can imagine that maybe Tess is pregnant by somebody else. Like, she can do whatever she wants.
She's canonically good at science. She knows how babies are made.
That's why she immediately is like, yes, I know, you're together. It's like, yeah, and she's pregnant. That's all you had to say. Also, this is another moment. The amount of times that I wrote Emmy for Shiri in this episode is outrageous, because her, like, seeing her process all of this information with just her face is, like, really wild for me to comprehend as someone who can't act. I'm like, how is she doing this?
Well, it's like, I think she makes it look easy. Right? Like, she's so good at it, she makes it look easy that I'm like, oh, you just do this with your face. It's fine. And then I go in front of the mirror and it's like, oh, no. Oh, no, no. It is not easy. You know, it's like, she makes me think I could do it. But, like, I can't.
You have to feel it in your heart, and then it comes out on your face.
Incredible.
I guess.
And this episode has a nice little feature of the countdown graphic from the pod chamber, from the Granolith. So that it actually, like, shows us the passage of time, and time might actually make sense in this episode. Don't hold me to that. Don't hold me to that.
It still seems like if they have 24 hours and it's going to leave the next day right after dawn, it feels like not a lot happens during all of those daylight hours between, like, when they originally insert the crystal key and, like, sundown, but then there's, like, a lot of nighttime.
Right.
But then also, it seems like there's quite a bit of time after sunrise the next morning for, like, the driving out to the desert and all of that stuff. But it is slightly more sensical in a timeline than some of our other episodes are.
At least they, like, claim to be following a timeline.
Right, yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure that they stayed up all night. So, like, we do get to see a lot of their night stuff. Yeah. Because Amy's like, what are you still doing here? Like, it's late. Why aren't you in bed? Like,
Yeah.
And then in the lab, which I don't know what lab this is, but Liz.
I feel like it's their high school science lab. Like, they drove back from Las Cruces.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them in the Jeep, so I think you might be right about that. Also, you know, Liz is the darling of the science department. She probably has a key.
Yeah.
And Liz, I think this is when Liz explains her reasoning with, like, why when she saw the blood and this and that, and she confirms that the blood is human. So that they have to start from the beginning.
Yeah. Which is so funny to me that we wait until now to get the explanation, and it wasn't. If I was Max, I would be like, tell me right now. Like, I'm not going to leave and then have to come all the way back if you're wrong.
They had no time, Ashley. They had to sit in the car and drive to this lab. They had no time to talk about it. They had to drive all the way from Las Cruces to Roswell, Ashley. When were they going to talk?
Silence. Yeah, when are they going to talk?
Fair.
Don't you know you have to be perfectly silent while driving?
Yeah.
For safety.
Well, they could have chatted about it when they pulled over to talk about Tess.
It's true. They could have pulled over to talk just like the other time. It's true. It's true. So, this is when Max finally tells her, like, oh, actually, I don't have time to investigate this from the beginning because, like, we're going back. And what does she do?
Throwback.
She lifts up her index finger for this throwback. Yeah. So good. Oh, and then she gets mad.
And then she tears that ass up.
I mean, I would be mad too.
She tears that ass up.
What? She does.
No, she did. She did. It was just funny.
My note just says, yeah, get him, Liz.
Including, though, outing herself and saying, I saved myself for you.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? Like, no, you didn't. You slept with Kyle.
You slept with Kyle. And Liz is like, I want to leave.
Yeah, she just immediately shuts it down. She's like, whoop, take me home.
I'm leaving.
And we'll come back to those two later, because now we have a really important thing to go talk about and do over at Michael's. I have 3 things written in my notes with exclamation points after them. Candles, Italian, Scooby.
Scooby, her favorite.
Who is this Casanova?
Yeah, because he has Scooby-Doo plates for her. How sweet is that? Because he knows it's her favorite.
And a beautiful looking salad.
Yes. I mean, I don't know where the rest... Maybe there's Italian dressing on the salad?
Maybe
perhaps
there's lasagna in the
lasagna
oven.
Is in the oven, yeah.
Yes.
We were in the same... Yeah.
It must be with the garlic bread.
And yeah, while Max and Liz are literally imploding, Michael and Maria are sitting here falling deeper and deeper in love.
This is
such
just
a beautiful scene.
A beautiful scene. Yeah.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to need you to get out of my brain.
Actually, stop it. I'm trying to say these things. Stop saying them. But really, also, like, the fact that, you know, he has so much to tell her, and the way he starts it all is by saying what he loves about her.
Yes.
It's just so beautiful. My heart melted. And I am sorry that I said that Kyle and Sean were my favorites, because Michael is also my favorite.
Brendan's little lip quiver
that
he does.
When he's about to cry. Ugh.
Yeah, when he was like, I've never let anyone see me before.
Ugh.
There are things inside of me that I don't want people to see.
Yeah, he lets her know that while, you know, Liz was having visions of Max, the only reason that Maria wasn't was because he physically stopped it from happening. Because he was afraid to let her in. Oh.
But now he's ready to.
Yeah.
And she's ready to as well.
Yeah. She is ready to let him in. That is true.
But before that moment...
Oh yeah, she sees these flashbacks, and what cracks me up is that baby Michael has spiky hair. Yeah. And it's like, I think just so that you can tell which of the little 2 boys is Michael and which one is Max. Yeah. But I do find it very funny.
Yes. Ugh. And then the, like, denouement of his visions that he lets her in on is Maria's face floating among the stars of the universe.
That part I did burst out laughing when that. Like, I didn't think twice about the hair on the little boy. Like, my brain was like, yeah, that tracks. But the second that they showed the scene of Maria just, like, floating in the universe, I was like,
see, I was the other way around for that one. I was like, yeah, that tracks. It's like, you know, she's seeing the way he sees her.
Sure, but, like, has he ever seen her floating in space?
No, but, I mean, but Liz saw a lot of space imagery with her Max flashes, too. So I wasn't thrown off.
Standing in it, though? The flashes of Liz were, like, all, like, memories from school and stuff.
Right. No. I hear you. I hear you.
What I take from this, as hokey as it is, what I take from this is that she is the center of his universe.
Oh, yeah, that's sweet. That's a gross, cute way to think of it.
but I said, oh, and then bleh. So it was both.
But, you know, I mean, whether or not it was his desired effect, it is, I mean, it's gonna get him some sex tonight.
Right.
Which I think it's clear that it was not his desired effect, because he even tries to stop her and continue the conversation.
Because
she's like,
has to tell her.
buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And she's like, shh, no, we're doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's pretty clear that this was not on his mind. This was not something he was hoping
not
for
like
or
something
expecting.
he was
trying
to wrap up before he left, like to
get
some from Maria, like.
Oh my god, and Kyle. How much do I love Kyle? He shows up in Tessa's room with flowers to congratulate her on being pregnant.
Yeah.
Which what a sweetie.
So sweet. But being in that room that used to be his and is now hers triggers some weird visions for him.
Yeah. Alex in the mirror, like, kind of monotonously saying things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he panics and he starts to remember and he's like, he was here the night he died. I have to tell my dad. And then Tess loses her shit.
Yeah. She is coming a little unhinged.
And I think this is the moment that we, as the viewers,
realize
first see that it first becomes like abundantly clear that, like, oh yeah, Tess is responsible for this.
Yeah. That something bad happened here and it is her fucking fault. But before she does mind warp him and get rid of those memories again, he starts to tell her about his mom, which is something we've never really heard about in the show, Mrs. Valenti. Like, we know that she's not there, and we know that it's just been Kyle and Jim for a long time, but we find out here that she left when Kyle was only 6, and that this is, like, the first time it's felt like family since she left. And then she's gonna fucking betray him.
So it's, like, been, what, 10-ish years since she left? And those plates are still up on the...
Yeah. There's, like, cheesy plates on the, like, plaid wallpaper.
The wallpaper. And they've moved around so much since then, too.
I know.
It is, like, sad, though, the idea that it would take another woman coming and being part of their family for him to feel like it's a family. And I do think it probably had something to do with the fact that his dad has, was not a great dad, distant, like we were just talking about.
So I wonder if he doesn't correlate her being there with also Jim being a better father.
Right. Yeah, there are definitely other factors there other than just, like, there's now another person and it's a woman.
Right. But she did make Christmas dinner.
Yeah, she did definitely, like, do things to make it feel more homey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then she wipes him, and he goes instantly back into sweet mode.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss you.
Ugh, my heart.
Yeah. Fuck you, Tess.
Fuck you, Tess.
Fuck you, Tess, but you're still cuter with Max than Liz.
I'm sorry, Ashley? What was that?
Just had something in my throat.
Oh, okay.
And then we get another shot of that, like, fancy countdown, that, like, CGI countdown in the Granolith chamber. So that we know that time is passing. It's getting closer to time to leave.
And now we go back to the conversation that kind of had been started before. between Liz and Max, because when she had said, I saved myself for you, and he was like, no, you slept with Kyle, he totally did read her face and knew exactly what it meant. He's like, you never slept with Kyle, did you?
I love the way that Liz reacts here when she is like, when he gives her the necklace, because first of all, he's not going to get a ring. Who gives rings to anyone anymore? But
what an antiquated 1950s idea to like give someone your class ring. I'm like, is it Bye Bye Birdie right now? Like, what's going on?
Exactly.
Is it season 1 of Buffy? Is this a clatter ring? I don't think so.
But she takes the necklace and she's like, I can't believe that this is what I have left of you. And just like her tone of disappointment when she said, like, I can't believe that this is how this is gonna friggin' end.
After
like,
all this time, after all of this drama and heartbreak and love and ups and downs, that like, you're gonna leave, you're having a baby with somebody else, you're leaving the planet, and all I got is like, it's like, my boyfriend went on vacation and all I got was this shitty t-shirt.
My boyfriend left the planet and all I got was this shitty broken necklace.
Yeah. And then he kisses her, or she kisses him, or they kiss each other, whatever.
The fuck?
I'm not pleased.
No.
Considering that they don't know yet that it was Tess that killed Alex.
Yeah.
He is cheating on his pregnant girlfriend.
Yep.
And not just with anyone, with someone he has a crazy history with.
Yeah.
It's just so
and
not
still
okay.
is so madly in love with.
Yeah.
It's so not okay.
Ugh. And his response, too, when she says, do you love her? And he says, not like I love you. It's like,
it's like fucked up.
You can't have both, Max, unless you're in an open, consensual, polyamorous relationship, which is not what's going on
Ethical
here.
non-monogamy, which I think these kids had never heard of.
Probably not.
I'm sure.
Because I definitely hadn't at that age.
Yeah, nobody had. Oh, it makes me so mad. It's like a really fucked up thing to do to both women.
Mm-hmm. Because as we're going to find out soon, Tess is going to know that he kissed Liz. She's going to be able to see it.
Which also is a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything Tess does is fucked up, though, now that we know.
That's true. Yeah. But we get a scene, or a clip in this scene of Max crying. And I think that Jason does a really good cry here. It was very believable for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't see a whole lot of emotion from Max. He comes off as kind of robotic at times, which I'm not playing that up to Jason's acting at all. I think that is like a character choice in the way.
Character.
Yeah. But he comes off as like very unfeeling and robotic about a lot of things. So to see him
anger
break down, unless it's anger.
I mean, we've seen him cry like a couple times, but I feel like those have been like really extreme times and like dramatic crying, right? Like the White Room, or like after he found out Tess was pregnant, didn't he like kind of have a freak out?
Yeah, he did. He like kicked all the trash cans and stuff.
But this isn't that. This isn't like an extreme situation or extreme reaction. It's just face acting. This is just his face. And it's very well done.
Yeah.
And then we see that our candies have
totally had sex.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some candy-related euphemism, but you know what's a good word to use for it? Sex. Because that's what it is.
And then we find out that they only have a couple of hours left. Michael lets Maria know that he's leaving, and she just is
she's so
calm and grown up about it. And she just is like, how much time do we have left? And he tells her, and she just like hugs him and settles in, and it's like, well, I just want to be present with you while I can be. And it's very sweet.
Yeah. I did say out loud, Jesus fucking Christ, when he says it, because she's just like, I love you. And he's like, I love you too. I'm leaving. Which, like, I get it. He had to say it. He's already been having trouble saying it. He, you know, obviously tried at the crash down, backed out, tried before they had sex. Mm-hmm. She stopped him. It's something that he's having a hard time actually saying, so blurting it out is the best option. But she just had sex, presumably for the first time, with her first, like, big love. Mm-hmm. Imagine that roller coaster.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
But she handles it so well.
Yeah, she does.
It's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like, it's unrealistic that a teenager would handle it that well. It's unrealistic that anybody would handle it that well.
And we've seen how heightened Maria can be with her emotions.
Yes.
Right? She doesn't even have her essential oils.
I know. How is she going to calm down without her cypress oil?
Right?
Well, she's got all those orgasm calmness happening.
Yeah, she's got true.
She's super chill.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some aromatherapy going on in those candles.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Probably. It's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, hello, Michael knows her well enough to have a Scooby-Doo plate. He definitely knows which scents to have the candles be. So,
yeah.
Right.
Safe to assume.
And then back to Izzy's room, and there is just so much crying in this episode. So much crying. Isabel clearly wants to stay. And Max
guilts her.
Yeah. And says, Earth isn't home. Whatever is out there isn't home. You are my home. As in, like, I need you with me to convince her to go. And she clearly wants to stay on Earth.
She's not his fucking sidekick. Like, she should make her own decisions.
Property.
Yeah. It's like as if I don't know if the show was trying to portray this speech as like a sweet brotherly speech, or if it just that Max was, but it seemed to me like it was like supposed to be like heartwarming, him being like, you are my home. But like I saw it the way you guys did, that he was guilting her and it felt manipulative. Mm-hmm. I did not like it.
Yep. I know I've said this before, but I hate Max Evan. That is in all caps in my notes for this scene. I think he only keeps her around for selfish reasons. Like, he doesn't take into consideration her life, like how this is going to affect her long term.
Yeah, no, he never does.
It's just like, you're my comfort zone, so you have to come with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically her saying, I want to stay, and him saying, no, you can't.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Just like he always has.
Yeah, and meanwhile, over at the DeLuca house, Liz is drowning her sorrows in some Sean.
Baby.
If only.
I know. Imagine the adventures we would have got had they gotten together.
Yeah. I was talking about myself, though, drowning. How nice it would be to drown yourself in Sean DeLuca. But yeah, totally. Liz. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about, like, how supportive he is and how supportive he's always been with her. Like, from the mustard on the burger to this, where he just holds her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she basically, like, just broke his heart here. Like, he finally got her kissing him.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's all
crying.
about Max. And what's his response? To comfort her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just all about, like, her and taking care of her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What a man.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man.
Mighty good man. So, back at the Evanses, we see, the scene starts and we see Max and Isabel talking to their parents. And I think we're led to believe that they're actually speaking to their parents until it zooms out and you see that there's a camcorder and they're making a video for their parents. And it seems like even in this video, they still, like, haven't told them the truth.
Right.
And they're just like, we are leaving.
Yeah,
we love you so much.
Goodbye. You have been wonderful parents.
Can you imagine raising children until they were 18 and then getting this fucking tape?
Nope.
And never seeing them again? Like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, also they crash the Jeep, you know, in theory to make it look like they died on the way out of town.
I do feel like forensics could find out, even with everything all burned up, that there was not
there was no
bodies in there.
Absolutely.
And also, what is that? That just makes this look like a suicide
right?
So, like, how confusing. Is that any better than just saying
we're aliens
from another planet and we have to go. Goodbye. Like, both, they're equally as jolting.
They deserve the truth. Their parents deserve to know the truth.
Which is exactly what Isabel has been wanting to do.
Yes.
But she's not going to get that closure.
No. It's so fucking frustrating. Then we're at the Valenti's and we see what you were talking about of when Tess kisses Max, she immediately knows that he kissed Liz and says this really disconcerting line of, "You won't remember her where we're going."
Yeah.
What? And this is like our first indication of this concept, that they're like not going to remember their lives on Earth at all.
Yeah.
Or is she gonna mind warp him?
Yeah. Either way, it's a creepy fucking thing that she said.
Yeah.
And the way she said it was also creepy. Just how detached from it she was.
Yeah.
And how she just, like, skips on away afterwards out the door. Like, what?
Yeah.
Then they go and blow up the Jeep. They, like, drive it off of a cliff. Wait, do they blow it up and then drive it off the cliff?
I think they drove it off, and when it crashed at the bottom, it exploded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just used their powers to drive it off the cliff with no driver. Yeah.
But, like, was that absolutely necessary? Probably not.
I mean, in 20 minutes, they're going to wish they still had a car.
It's
I'm just
true.
saying.
They fucked up their car. For no reason. And they couldn't have, like, left it for Liz or something. Like, it's TV, you know? It's, like, ownership or whatever.
Yeah. She's like, you give me a shitty fucking necklace when I could have had a Jeep. What the fuck?
You give me a broken necklace and your perfectly good functional car is destroyed for no reason.
Yeah.
If I can't have it, nobody can.
Brr.
Fuck you, Max.
Right.
And Max says to Valenti, "I need you to protect Liz, Maria, and Kyle," which just annoyed me. Like, you are not their guardian. One of those people is his child. Like, he is protecting them. He's already protecting them. It's not your job to protect them.
And he is also, like, a former sheriff and has proven time and again to be a good caretaker. Like, I think it goes without saying that he's gonna look out for them.
Yeah, what is Max just like?
Condescending.
Okay, I'm leaving now, so what? Jim's just gonna what?
You're in charge now, Jim.
Yeah, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, what do they think? What does he think that Jim is gonna do now? Like,
oh, well, Max is gone. Fuck those other kids.
Time to watch TV, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Also, when they all walk away, like when they're saying goodbye to Jim, it, first of all, breaks my heart. And then they all walk away in the middle of the fucking road.
Yeah. It's the middle of nowhere. Nobody else is driving down that road in the middle of the night. Or in the early morning. It's morning now, isn't it?
It's still dark.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it could be early morning, but...
Yeah, it's probably like 3 in the morning or something. 4.
Because I know that they're all also in fairly dark... Well, not all of them, but most of them are in fairly dark clothing, walking in the middle of the road in the night. I was just like, that's safe. You're going to make it to the...
If any cars come at them, they will just move them.
Yeah, fair.
And Liz stayed at the DeLucas after her weird experience with Sean, it looks like, because she and Maria are over there and they hear Amy start to talk about Lyric.
It's like she's reliving it.
Yeah, it's like...
Right, she's talking like present tense, like we're here. He has a gun.
Yeah, it's like all the flashes have fully pulled her out of reality and she is reliving it moment by moment.
Yeah. I thought they did a nice job with this, with like kind of exploring how memories would come back to someone after a mind warp starts wearing off. Because it wasn't like all like suddenly she's like, oh yeah, I remember this thing, you know?
He's pointing a gun at my daughter.
Right. And they've shown us, like, because this is how Alex died. They've shown us that mind warps harm the brain if done too much. Yeah. That, like, it really fucked up her brain and her memories.
And smart Liz puts the pieces together.
The tap, 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 tap.
Exactly. So we only see Amy for a second in this episode. But I do want to call attention to the fact that I believe that this is the last episode that Diane Farr is in.
It is.
Which means it's the last episode, obviously, that our beloved Amy DeLuca is in. And for this occasion, I have written a little something. So here you go.
She's cool, she laughs, she's full of glee. She's hot, she's sassy, she's Amy.
So then we cut back to the Valentis, where they are there talking to Kyle, trying to get him to remember. Mm-hmm. And I laughed so hard at him saying, no, there's no way I could have been mind warped. I would have remembered it. They're like, Kyle, that's the whole fucking point of a mind warp.
I know, I wrote, Kyle doesn't remember being mind warped. No shit, Sherlock.
And this is when it all comes back to him. Mm-hmm. And this is when we finally get, like, the full scene of Alex coming in and being like, you destroyed my mind. Like, why did you do this to me? And she killed him and made Kyle carry his body, thinking it was luggage.
I do want to point out that both times that, because earlier when he saw Alex, it was in this same mirror. Mm-hmm. And then he went back to this mirror and looked up and saw him again. So I wonder if that wasn't a part of Alex being there. Like maybe Alex showed up and he was standing there by the mirror and saw him and then Tess made him leave. Because it's just weird to me that it was specifically the same mirror both times that triggered the memories.
Mm-hmm. I think you're probably right about that. He probably did see him through the mirror on that day.
And Nick's acting is really good here, too.
Yeah.
Emmys all around. Emmys all around.
Emmys all around. Emmy for Nick, Emmy for Sherry, Emmy for Jason.
Emmy for Katie.
Katie.
Emmy for Brendan's lip quiver.
Yes.
Specifically, Emmy for Brendan's lip. Yeah. Specifically for his lip. His bottom lip.
But now all the pieces are finally put together, and Maria, Liz, and Kyle are off to try and catch up and stop the aliens from leaving with this murderess.
And I didn't say this earlier, but I just want to point out that Maria's fucking sweater dress is so cute. I love this dress. I love the colors. I love the cut. I love all of it. Looks fantastic.
She's so cute. So it did give me a little chuckle seeing them run up and like, bang on the door, which is solid stone.
Yeah. It's just
because
rocks.
Like they're not gonna hear you in there.
No, they are not.
This is solid stone.
I also, my first note for this scene is, what did they think that the banging was gonna do?
Yeah. But, luckily, we have, luckily our leader is a total misogynist. And when his friend Michael wants to stay on the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll miss you, buddy.
You
totally
can go.
Fine.
Yeah. And then Isabel is just standing there, like,
are you
so
kidding?
Mad. I'm so mad. I hate Max so much.
But thank God that Michael is allowed to stay, because if that hadn't happened, like, the door wouldn't have opened and,
right.
They would never have known about Tess.
Yeah, they would have just all left with her, and she could have been mind warping all of them. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. And to go back to when Max tells Michael that, you've been a good brother, you can stay. He turns to Isabel and says, I would understand. If you would understand, you would have understood when she was having a full-on mental fucking breakdown in her bedroom.
Sobbing.
And you guilted her into coming with you.
Yep.
Yeah, and all it takes is for Michael to be like, I think I want to stay.
Right.
Whereas Isabel's sobbing and still she can't.
Yeah.
But he doesn't own Michael. He owns Isabel, so, it's bullshit. I wonder how many listeners we've lost by how much we dislike Max. Well, you know what? He doesn't get a pass.
No, he doesn't.
And so Tess is like, none of this matters now, and calls Liz a bitch, or like says Liz is a bitch to Max, I guess. And that makes Max big mad. You don't talk about Liz.
The love of my life. You're just the mother of my child. She's the love of my life.
Yeah, so when they come in and it's Kyle that breaks it down, he's like, she mind warped me. She made me carry his body. I wish my only complaint about this, I guess it's not really a complaint. My only note about this interaction is that I wish that Nick would have given a little more anger in that scene. I feel like he wasn't angry enough in that line delivery. But other than that, Emmys all around.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wrote Max is big mad. And also, do we think this? I have a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. Do we think that she was mind warping him and lying about the viability of the pregnancy the planet?
Ooh.
That is a very big possibility to me.
I think it's like likely.
I hadn't thought of it, but I think it is highly likely that that was all a manipulation tactic to hurry up everybody else getting on board to go home. Because as we find out, like, she has a deal with Kavar to bring back the other three, and where assumably they will, like, be put in prison or whatever.
Or killed.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's highly possible that all of that was just an act. I mean, not having the baby, probably not an act, because she's promised to, like, bring the baby back to Kavar, but...
Right.
But yeah,
but this whole time trying to get with Max, so she could get pregnant.
Yeah. And she doesn't do that until Alex is already gone. And so she now knows how to get home. So there's no point in getting pregnant if she doesn't know how to get home yet.
Yeah.
And she's in a hurry because she doesn't want anyone to figure out. She knows Liz is hot on her fucking trail.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she's got to speed this shit up and get the fuck out of this planet.
Yep. And with the, I mean, accidental killing of Alex, she has also come to the conclusion that the mind warp will kill people, and she has mind warped a bunch of other people. So, like, the bodies are going to start dropping.
Right. There's not a lot of line delivery from Tess that I say is good because of the whole accent thing.
Yeah. But sorry, Emily, but
yeah, I mean, she's phenomenal.
She's great, but the accent is not.
I love her line delivery of "I'm your wife, Max." The fierceness and like hurt and anger all together in that line delivery was good. I liked that.
She did deliver that well, I agree.
Also, she says, like, you were a king. You weren't always like this. Okay, well, he was a king when Niceto made this fucking deal. So why are you sticking with this deal that was made against such a good king man or whatever? Like, that didn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't make sense.
She just wants to go home at the end of the day. And she will do whatever she needs to do to get there.
So it turns out that everybody stays.
Yeah.
Except Tess and her fetus.
Get on that granolith. Get out of here.
Goodbye. So I made a reference that neither of you understood, and I'm hoping there are listeners out there who are going to understand what I say. What I mean when I say that this reminded me of Capri Sun. Because Capri Sun used to have these commercials where, like... Now do you know where like a person would like turn into this like silver liquidy stuff? That's what this was. It was Capri Sun, silver liquid coming out of the mountain thing.
I don't remember this.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to.
Now you know.
I'm gonna have to pull it up. We'll share it. Well, I'll find an old commercial and I'll share it on our socials so everyone can see. But you're so right.
Capri Sun. Wasn't it also like Alex Mack?
Yes.
Was it Alex Mack that also, like, became that, like, liquid?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
The Secret World of Alex Mack.
I just wrote down, what is this, like, mercury or something coming out?
Yeah.
It does. It looks like mercury, for sure. So, I just have two more notes, which is that things suddenly seem to be just totally fine and cool between Liz and Max.
Yep, totally fine.
Yeah. Which is
he, like, has his arm around her. They're, like, fine now.
She's, like, hugging all up on him. No, Liz.
As if he didn't, like, you know, not trust her and be with another girl and get her pregnant and, like, all the everything.
And now, like, send that girl back to another planet by herself. Like.
Then the other note is that someone asks him, maybe Liz, I don't know, what now, Max? And his response is, I have to save my son.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And he also, he has another, like, little heartfelt moment before they start, like, cuddling on each other and shit. And I'm just like, okay, but guess what? I still haven't heard a fucking I'm sorry.
No, no apology at all.
Nope.
He's just like, well, I took care of one problem, so I guess that means I can have you back now.
Yeah.
Like, no. Ugh. Also, the ending shot of them all standing there. I was like, what group of teenagers stands like that?
A group of television teenagers.
Yeah.
That's who.
That's true.
Standing dramatically on the rocks.
So this is it, y'all.
It is.
We finished season 2.
We did. Do we have hot and saucy nominations for this week?
Now let's see who's hot and saucy.
Oh, jeez.
I'm torn between using a sweet Michael on the couch opening up, you know, I'm torn between that and also torn between really pissing off our listeners.
Do it.
And choosing Tess saying, I'm your wife, Max.
I mean, that is saucy.
Because I don't believe I've ever chosen Tess. I don't know that anyone has ever chosen Tess. And I don't know if Tess is going to be a part of season 3. I have no idea. I've even avoided the, because, I watched this probably 3 or 4 times for this recording, and it tries to roll on into season 3, and I've avoided looking at any of the descriptions of the episodes. I am totally blind for season 3, so I'm gonna go with Tess. You know what? I've already made some controversial statements about Tess and Max and Max and Liz, so I'm gonna go with Tess and her Emily and her phenomenal line delivery of, I'm your wife, Max.
Right, so here's the thing. Here is a loophole that you can give it to Emily and it makes it not as bad.
Yeah, I would rather give it to Emily.
If Tess is hot, it's just because the actress is hot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're gonna make that official on the record. It's for Emily, not Tess.
Yeah.
Mine is the unseen but imaginably very hot true love sex of Michael and Maria. And I'm giving it to both of them together for their culmination of their true love for each other.
Oh, how can I follow that? Fuck. Okay, my hot and saucy are Kyle and Sean. But I don't know which one is hot and which one is saucy, so you can leave that up to the imagination. Yep, that's my pick, and I'm sticking to it.
We don't have Lisa here, but do you have any questions for me as a first-time viewer?
I was just going to say, because we haven't had Lisa's predictions in a while, and you just said you've been really working hard to avoid any spoilers or information about season 3. So, Ashley's predictions, what do you see happening as we roll into season 3? Or what do you want to see happen?
Okay. Obviously Liz and Max are back together. It's been real nice having a season off. I think that Michael and Maria are going to probably grow a lot closer. I foresee a lot more sex in their future. Obviously, we talked about Amy not being there. So I'm curious to see what's up with the parents in season 3. They've already been pretty much absent, but I'm curious to see, if we don't get any DeLuca parents, are we going to get Evan's parents? I don't know. I'm hoping that Jim becomes sheriff again. I just feel like that's where he belongs,
Yeah.
I also think he belongs with Amy DeLuca, but I guess that's out. I don't know if Sean stays around. I think it would be cool for him to be a part of the group, but I also feel like he probably isn't going to be in season 3. I feel like, especially after Liz made out with him and then was like, oh, Max, and now she's with Max. I feel like he's probably just going to leave.
If I was him, I wouldn't want to be around.
Yeah. And I guess probably the premise of season 3 is going to be saving Max's son. And I am very interested to see how different time moves on their planet when they find this baby, will it be a baby? Will it be an adult? Will it be a teen? Who knows?
Are we going to have a time dilation system?
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I've also heard that there's just like a lot of leather in season 3. So I'm interested to see the outfits that we're going to get.
Guess we'll see.
All right.
I just find myself questioning like literally every scene with Tess in it all the way back. Because like all the way back to like the beginning of season 2 when she pulls Alex to the side at lunch and asks him for a favor. Like that's presumably when all of this started. So then everything from there on out was probably a lie. If not stuff before that could have been a lie. So yeah, I get it. I get why people hate her. I'm sorry that I have opinions you probably don't agree with, but I am who I am.
That's what a podcast is for. That's why we have more than one host.
Right.
We want different opinions.
And if everybody had the same opinion, life would be boring.
Right.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us for this season finale. Stay tuned for our season 2 recap coming soon.
As always, you can follow us on social media, including TikTok at Roswell Hot Sauce on all platforms. And you can find show notes, more information about your hosts, and about our podcast at roswellhotsauce.com. And you can email us if you have any pressing thoughts, concerns, or questions at roswellhotsauce@gmail.com.
Pass the Hot Sauce is produced and edited by Ashley Hullett. Our theme music is by David Belcourt, and our logo was designed by Billy Murray.
Until next time, remember...
Tess killed Alex.
What?